Black billionaire is disregarded and humiliated in a luxury hotel, but a few days later he returns as the new owner. Marcus Johnson walked through the lobby of the Regency Grand Hotel, a space that exuded opulence. The crystal chandeliers shone brightly, reflecting the wealth that this place represented. He wore a tailored suit that accentuated his imposing stature, but even so, he felt the judgmental gazes of the staff. The hotel, a temple of luxury, seemed to have its own invisible hierarchy, and Marcus was not welcome. "Good morning, sir. How can I assist you?" The receptionist's voice was cold and devoid of emotion. Marcus looked at her, noting the lack of sympathy in her smile. He swallowed his frustration but insisted, "I would like to check in. I have a reservation." "Name, please?" The receptionist typed quickly on the computer without looking up. When she finally did, her expression changed. "I'm sorry, but we could not find your reservation. The hotel is fully booked. I called days ago." The reservation was confirmed. The indignation began to seep into Marcus's voice, but the receptionist shook her head, showing no empathy. "Unfortunately, that is not registered. I suggest you look for another hotel." She turned away, already disinterested in the conversation. Marcus's indignation turned to anger. He spotted Sarah Miller, the hotel manager, speaking with a guest. When she noticed Marcus's presence, a look of disdain crossed her face. Marcus realized that, to her, he was just another intruder in a place that celebrated exclusivity. "Ms. Miller," he called out, trying to maintain his composure. "Could you please help me?" Sarah approached, her expression colder than usual. "What do you want, sir?" she asked, without any sign of cordiality. "I have a reservation and the receptionist just informed me that nothing is registered," Marcus replied, his voice fine. "If it's not in the system, there's nothing I can do. The hotel is full. Unfortunately, we cannot accommodate everyone who wishes to stay here," Sarah said, as if apologizing, but her words carried a tone of disdain. "Do you really not see the problem with that?" Marcus retorted, his voice brimming with indignation. "What you're saying is that only certain people deserve to be treated with respect in this hotel." Sarah raised an eyebrow, clearly annoyed. "I have no control over the reservation, sir. If you'll excuse me, I need to attend to other guests." She turned away, ignoring Marcus as if he were nothing more than a passing shadow. Furious, Marcus left the hotel. The scent of luxury now made him feel sick. He had faced challenges throughout his life, but nothing had prepared him for the humiliation he had just experienced. As he walked through the streets of the city, his mind buzzed with plans for revenge. He could not let this go unanswered. In his conference room, surrounded by lawyers and consultants, Marcus laid out his plan. "What I'm going to do is simple," he began, his voice echoing with determination. "I'm going to buy the Regency Grand Hotel." "Marcus, you know this is a monumental challenge," one of the lawyers said hesitantly. "The hotel is an institution. The acquisition won't be easy. I don't care about the difficulty. What matters is that I can transform this place into something that represents diversity and inclusion, not just exclusivity," Marcus declared, his confidence radiating in the room. "We'll need a solid action plan," another lawyer suggested, quickly taking notes. "We'll need to evaluate all the legal and financial aspects. Yes, but the main thing is that we will change the culture of this hotel. They will no longer have control over who can or cannot be welcomed here," Marcus emphasized, already envisioning what could be done. After weeks of negotiations and planning, Marcus finally succeeded in acquiring the Regency Grand Hotel. It was time for the transformation to begin. He decided to host a grand reopening party, an event that would bring together all the staff and guests, where he could share his vision of an inclusive hotel. That night, the hall was lit up and the staff gathered in groups, murmuring about the changes to come. When Marcus took the stage, everyone fell silent, their voices instantly muted. He took a deep breath, observing the expressions of curiosity and apprehension. "Thank you all for being here. Today we are not just celebrating the reopening of this hotel, but also a new era of inclusion and diversity," he began, his voice resonating through the hall. "I want each of you to know that your stories and experiences matter. Together, we will make the Regency Grand Hotel a place where everyone feels welcome and respected." The applause started timidly but soon became enthusiastic, and Marcus felt warmth in his chest. He looked at Sarah and Andrew, who watched the scene with expressions of shock and confusion. The transformation was just beginning, and Marcus was determined to make the Regency a symbol of what true luxury represented: empathy and H. Before we continue with this thrilling story, Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any stories. And let us know which city you're watching this video from in the comments. Angela White, a housekeeper at the Regency Grand Hotel, stood in her small apartment observing her reflection in the mirror. Her disheveled hair and tired eyes revealed an exhausting routine marked by long hours of work and the daily struggle to support her young son. The event that took place at the hotel the night before still haunted her. Marcus Johnson, the billionaire who had been treated disdainfully by Sarah Miller, the manager, had not only become a powerful figure in her life but also a source of hope. His words still echoed in her mind. Change begins with the courage to dream. Angela decided that instead of allowing herself to be beaten down, she would share her story. So the next day after work, she headed to the hotel lobby, where some guests were gathered to discuss their experiences. With her heart racing, she approached a group of people, hesitant but determined. "Hi, can I share something?" she began, her voice trembling. A middle-aged man in a well-fitted suit looked at her with curiosity. "Of course, we're here to listen. What would you like to say?" Angela took a deep breath. "I'm one of the housekeepers at this hotel. Often we are invisible to guests, but we live very different realities. I'm a single mother, and I work here to give my son a better life. Sometimes, I feel like my struggle goes unrecognized." She saw a few faces turn toward her as empathy began to emerge. "It's brave of you to share this," said a woman with a gentle gaze. "We all have stories. What do you think could change so that people like you feel more valued?" Angela smiled shyly. "I believe that more dialogue would help. If we knew more about each other, maybe there would be more understanding. I would love to see an event here that celebrates our stories and cultures." Meanwhile, Andrew Smith, the heir of the hotel, was in his office, observing the transformation of the Regency. He felt threatened by Marcus's rise and the growing determination of the staff. "Why is everything changing? This isn't part of the hotel's tradition," he questioned, looking at his assistant, who merely shrugged. "People are coming together to create something new, Andrew. Maybe you should try to understand." "Understand what?" he replied, frustrated. "This is my legacy. I can't just leave it in the hands of a billionaire and a maid." It was then that he decided to step out of his comfort zone and approach the staff. He found Angela in the lobby, and despite his insecurity, he initiated a conversation. "Hi, Angela. I heard you talking about changes. Do you really believe this will work?" Angela looked at him, surprised by his approach. "I believe that changes are necessary, Andrew. People want to be heard and valued. It's not just about the hotel, but about the community we can build here." Andrew furrowed his brow. "Aren't you afraid this could affect your jobs? What happens if things don't work out?" "Actually, I'm not worried about that anymore," Angela replied, her voice firm. "I'm more concerned about creating an environment where everyone is seen and accepted. That's what really matters." The conversation made Andrew reflect on his own insecurities and the pressure of being the heir to a legacy that felt suffocating. He decided to open his heart. "Sometimes I feel like I'm just living in my father's ass. He expects me to follow a path that doesn't make me happy." Angela looked at him with compassion. "You don't have to follow what others expect of you. Success can mean different things to different people. How about we work together to create an event that celebrates diversity here in the hotel? That could be a start." Andrew smiled, feeling a new sense of hope. "You know, this could really work. Let's do it." With this newfound understanding, the idea of an event to celebrate diversity began to take shape, uniting not only the staff, but also the guests, who longed for meaningful change. Angela and Andrew were ready to face the challenge ahead, determined that together they could transform the Regency Grand Hotel into a true symbol of inclusion and empathy. Sarah Miller sat in her office, watching the hustle and bustle of the Regency Grand Hotel from her window. The changes Marcus Johnson was implementing left her feeling uneasy. The hotel's atmosphere, once marked by exclusivity and elitism, now pulsed with a new, inclusive, and vibrant energy. She couldn't shake the feeling that her world was crumbling. The values she had always defended were being challenged, leaving her in a state of constant anxiety. "Why are you so deep in thought, Sarah?" Andrew Smith, the hotel heir, asked as he entered her office. He looked worried, his expression reflecting the same insecurity she felt. "Everyone is excited about the changes. Why can't you keep up?" "Because..." Sarah hesitated, searching for the right words. "Because I don't know if this is what the Regency needs. Things were working well the way they were. Now everything is different and I don't know how I fit into this." Andrew stepped closer, leaning on her desk. "But what we've been doing until now hasn't worked for everyone. Marcus is trying to change that. He wants people to feel welcome here, Isn't that what we all want? A more inviting environment? And what if that costs me my job? What if the changes don't attract the guests we used to have? Sarah replied, her voice tinged with desperation. I'm not the only one who feels this way. I'm sure others are worried too. I understand your concern, Andrew said, leaning in closer. But look, everyone is adapting. Angela, the maid, for example, is so excited about the possibility of bringing her culture into the hotel. She's proof that we can make a difference. Sarah rolled her eyes, feeling the weight of the role she had played as manager. She knew she needed to open herself up to new ideas, but the resistance inside her was strong. Angela has nothing to lose. She's trying to stand out. I'm in a different position. My career is at stake here. What if you tried to see this as an opportunity? Andrew suggested, trying to calm her. If you join us, you could help shape this new vision. You can still play an important role in it. Andrew's words began to resonate in her mind, but the fear of loss kept her trapped. However, the idea of being an active voice in the changes intrigued her. She decided to give the new perspective a chance. Maybe you're right. Maybe I should open up to this, but it's hard to see change as a good thing. As they talked, Angela entered the room, carrying a stack of documents. She noticed the tension in the air and asked, "Is everything okay here?" "We're just discussing the changes at the hotel," Andrew replied, a nervous smile on his lips. Sarah was sharing some concerns. "I understand," Angela said, placing the papers on the table. "But trust me, it's exciting to see this place transforming. You should join us at the next staff meeting. Everyone is eager to share ideas on how we can make the hotel more inclusive." "Maybe you're right, Angela," Sarah said, trying to hide the hesitation in her voice. "But what's expected of me in this new scenario? What can I do to help?" "You can act as a bridge," Angela suggested. "You know the hotel. You understand what our guests expect. If you use that experience to guide the changes, everyone will benefit." Sarah took a deep breath, feeling that she was slowly beginning to see a light at the end of the tunnel. "All right, I'll try. I'll participate in the next meeting and see what I can do." Andrew smiled, visibly relieved. "Great. That's all we need, Sarah. Together we can make this place a true home for everyone." As they conversed, Sarah realized that change didn't have to be a threat, but rather an opportunity for growth. Tucker, the insecurity that had once dominated her began to dissipate, giving way to hope. She was not alone on this journey. She had Andrew and Angela by her side, and together, they could shape a new future for the Regency Grand Hotel. The reopening party for the Regency Grand Hotel was in full swing. Bright lights reflected in every corner of the elegantly decorated lobby, which now displayed a mix of cultures, with flags from different countries adorning the walls. Marcus, wearing a wide smile, observed the diverse crowd that had gathered to celebrate the hotel's new era. He felt accomplished, yet a concern lingered in the air. Angela, the housekeeper, who had now become a key part of the new management, approached him. "Marcus, do you think everyone feels welcome?" she asked, her anxious gaze sweeping across the hall. "Of course, Angela. Look at all these people. This is what we've always wanted, a space where everyone feels embraced. It's a new era for us," Marcus replied, his confidence shining through his voice. However, the festive atmosphere was abruptly interrupted when a visibly intoxicated guest shouted, "Why do we have a diversity party? This is a hotel, not a UN meeting." The comment echoed through the hall, causing an awkward silence. Eyes turned to the man, who seemed to revel in the negative attention he had drawn. Sarah, still in the midst of her transformation, was nearby when she heard the comment. She turned to Marcus, who wore a determined expression. "What are you going to do?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. "I'm going to turn this to our advantage," Marcus replied firmly. He stepped up to the small makeshift stage, his gaze fixed on the disrespectful guest. "I understand that some people may feel uncomfortable with the changes we're making here," he began, his voice resonating throughout the lobby. "But that's exactly why we're here. Diversity is not a threat. It's an opportunity to learn, grow, and celebrate what makes us unique." The guest prepared to respond, but Marcus continued. "Some of you may not know, but each of us carries a story. I am a billionaire, yes, but I am also a man who has been looked down upon because of the color of my skin. Angela, here beside me, is a single mother fighting to give her children a better future. These stories are what make us human." Angela moved, stepped up to the stage alongside him. "When you see someone who looks different from you, remember that we are all part of the same community. No one should be judged by their appearance or background. This hotel is a space for everyone, and we will fight to ensure it stays that way. The atmosphere began to warm up. Some people in the audience stood up and applauded, while others murmured their agreement. Sarah, feeling inspired, joined them, raising her hands in support. Let's celebrate our diversity, Marcus continued. Let's share our stories, our cultures. True luxury lies not just in impeccable service or opulent surroundings, but in the empathy and connections we create with one another. The guests, now silent, seemed diminished as Marcus looked around, witnessing the transformation of the environment. The tension that had once dominated the hall was replaced by a spirit of unity. People began to rise one by one, and soon everyone was applauding, a chorus of affirming voices echoing through the Regency Grand Hotel. After the turmoil, Marcus stepped down from the stage, feeling empowered. He turned to Angela, who was still emotional. Did you see that? What started as a negative situation transformed into something powerful. Angela smiled, admiring Marcus's courage. Yes, it shows we are on the right path. People need to hear these stories. They need to understand they are not alone. As the party continued, guests began to share their own stories of discrimination and overcoming adversity. The incident had provided a safe space for everyone to connect and empower one another. Marcus and Angela listened attentively as the atmosphere became a true testament to diversity and inclusion. The night unfolded into a vibrant celebration, where laughter and conversations intertwined, and the magic of empathy began to settle in the heart of the Regency Grand Hotel, now a symbol of change and hope. After the grand reopening event of the Regency Grand Hotel, the atmosphere was electrically charged with expectations. Marcus, now in control of the hotel, felt it was time to take a new step. He gathered Angela and Sarah in his suite, where the three sat in a circle surrounded by lush plants and a stunning view of the city. We need a new vision for the Regency, Marcus began, a determined glint in his eyes. I want this hotel to be more than just a place for luxurious stays. I want it to be a space that celebrates cultural diversity. How about we create experiences that connect our guests to the stories and traditions of different cultures? Angela, who had been listening intently, interjected with growing excitement. That's wonderful. We can organize weekly events featuring local artists, international cuisine nights, and even craft workshops. That way, not only guests but also the community will feel part of the hotel. Sarah, still grappling with her insecurities and the idea of losing control, hesitated a bit. But what if traditional guests don't accept these changes? What will happen to our status? Marcus smiled, recognizing Sarah's vulnerability. That's exactly what we need to change, Sarah. Status should not be based on exclusion. True luxury lies in creating an environment where everyone feels welcome. We need to be bold. Sarah's expression began to soften, and she recalled what she had witnessed during the reopening event. You're right. I saw how happy people were to feel included. Maybe it's time to let go of this traditional view I've held. We need to unite and show that this new direction is not just an idea, but a necessity, Marcus continued. Angela, you can help lead the implementation of the new diversity policies. And Sarah, you will be crucial in ensuring the team aligns with this vision. The excitement grew in the room, but soon a shadow of concern crossed Angela's face. I would love to do this, but not all staff may be willing to accept these changes. Some might resist, and that could create a division. Marcus nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. Then we need a plan. We need to talk to the team, listen to their concerns, and show them how this change will benefit everyone. Let's organize a meeting with all the employees and create a space where they feel comfortable expressing their opinions. Sarah finally felt like part of the team, and her eyes lit up. I can help mediate this meeting. People need to feel that their voices matter, and if we can create a safe environment, maybe we can turn this resistance into support. Perfect, Marcus exclaimed, clapping his hands. Now, regarding the new direction for the hotel, I would like the launch of the first experiences to take place next month. We need a striking name for these events. Angela, always creative, suggested, how about Nights of Diversity? It can encompass everything from food to art and really highlight what we want to achieve here. I love the idea, Sarah said, excited. Additionally, we could create a mural in the lobby where guests can share their stories and experiences. It would make the hotel more interactive. Marcus, pleased with the progress, felt the energy of the team intensifying. This is exactly what I was hoping for. We are taking the first steps toward a legacy that truly matters. Inclusion is not just a word, it is a commitment we must make together. However, As ideas flowed, Angela felt a weight in her heart. What if the resistance is too strong? What if some people decide they don't want to be part of this? Marcus looked deeply into her eyes. Angela, any significant change faces challenges. What matters is how we respond to those challenges. We need to support one another and remember that we are fighting for something greater. Our stories and experiences are valid and need to be heard. With this renewed strength, the three stood up. The planning for the future of the Regency Grand Hotel was just beginning, but the determination of Marcus, Angela, and Sarah set a clear path. They were ready to face the obstacles ahead, united by the vision of a hotel that not only accommodated, but embraced diversity in all its forms. Andrew Smith watched the transformation of the Regency Grand Hotel with a mix of fascination and insecurity. He never imagined that the hotel, which had always been a hallmark of elitist hospitality, could become an inclusive and welcoming space. In particular, he felt pressured by the change, as if his identity were disintegrating along with the old structure of the hotel. On a sunny day, he decided to meet with Marcus and Angela to discuss the future of the place. In the meeting room, Andrew was nervous. He sat at the table fidgeting with the papers he had prepared while Angela and Marcus exchanged knowing glances. "Andrew, you seem worried," Angela commented, breaking the silence. "What's bothering you?" "It's just, all of this is so new to me," he replied, running his hand through his hair. "My father always had a very clear vision of what the hotel should be. And now, with all these changes, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing." Marcus leaned forward, resting his elbows on the table. "Andrew, what do you really want? Do you want to follow your father's legacy? Or do you want to create something that truly reflects who you are? Inclusion is not just a trend, it's a necessity. People need to feel represented." Andrew took a deep breath. "I want to do the right thing, but I don't know how. Sometimes I feel like I'm betraying my family." Angela, sensing the young man's internal struggle, added, "Betraying your family doesn't mean sacrificing your beliefs. Sometimes you have to challenge what you've been taught to do what's right." "What does your father think about diversity? Has he ever considered that it could enrich the hotel?" Andrew looked thoughtful, staring at the table. "He only sees fame and money. He never cared about the people who work here or the guests." "Then maybe you should be the change he can't see," Marcus suggested. "You can use your position to promote a new legacy." The conversation left Andrew feeling more hopeful, and for the first time he began to envision a path forward. He said goodbye to Marcus and Angela, determined to organize an event that celebrated diversity at the hotel. However, the pressure soon set in. On a rainy afternoon, Sarah entered the meeting room looking exhausted. "Andrew, we need to talk," she said, her eyes filled with concern. "What about, Sarah?" Andrew asked, curious as he watched the manager lean against the table. "About the changes we are implementing. I don't know if I'm ready for this. What will happen to me if it all goes wrong?" Andrew looked at her, realizing that, like him, Sarah was also grappling with her insecurities. "Sarah, you're not alone. We're all going through a transformation. You can be part of this and help shape the hotel's future." She sighed, the tension visible in her shoulders. "But what if my job is no longer needed? What if I can't adapt to this new reality?" "You have to believe in yourself. I'm nervous too, but we know this is necessary. The Regency needs you. You can be a bridge between the old and the new," Andrew said, his tone encouraging. Sarah hesitated, but Andrew's determined look made her reconsider. "Okay, let's do it. But we need a solid plan. We can't let this turn into chaos." Sarah's confidence began to slowly blossom, and the two joined forces to organize the event that would celebrate diversity and inclusion, a crucial step in redefining what the Regency Grand Hotel represented. As they worked, Andrew couldn't help but notice how the team was coming together. Each member brought their experiences and stories, and he realized that these voices were essential for the success of the event. He felt more secure in his role, and gradually the idea of being an agent of change became more tangible. One day, while reviewing the event details, Andrew turned to Sarah and said, "Did you remember to include a presentation of the local culture?" "Of course, I've already thought about inviting local dance and music groups. It'll add a special touch," she replied, smiling for the first time since they started planning. Andrew smiled back, feeling part of something greater. The insecurity that had followed him from the start began to fade. Together, they were creating something that not only challenged the status quo, but also honored diversity. As the team worked, Andrew realized that perhaps true luxury wasn't just in the finely crafted walls of the Regency Grand Hotel, but in the relationships they were building and the inclusion they were fostering. Marcus Johnson looked at the Regency Grand Hotel with a mix of satisfaction and pride. The transformation he had initiated was not just about the hotel's physical structure, but also about the mindset of everyone working there. He had become a true community leader, dedicating himself to promoting inclusion in various businesses around him. It was a new day, and he was about to be recognized for his efforts at a ceremony that promised to celebrate the changes he and his team had implemented. In the hotel's conference room, Angela White was organizing a meeting with the staff. The atmosphere was electric, and everyone was eager to share their stories about how the changes had impacted their lives. Angela, with her warm smile, began to speak. "Everyone, we are here because we believe in something greater. What we're doing isn't just about our jobs, it's about all those who feel invisible. Each of you has a story that deserves to be heard. And this is just the beginning," added Andrew Smith, who, after many deep conversations with Marcus, had found his true voice. He had renewed confidence and was determined to support the changes. "We are a family now, and we need to ensure that every guest who walks in here feels that. Inclusion is not just a word, it's an experience." The staff nodded, some visibly emotional. The conversation flowed, and everyone began to share their experiences. A waiter, Jose, raised his hand. "Before, I felt like my work wasn't valued. Now I feel like I'm part of something important. My son saw me on TV talking about the hotel, and he was so proud." "That's amazing, Jose," said Angela, her enthusiasm contagious. "And that shows that all of us have the power to change not only our lives, but also the lives of future generations." After the meeting, Marcus and Andrew met in a nearby room, where the atmosphere was more tense. Andrew was worried about his father's reaction, who had always been a traditionalist. "Marcus, I'm starting to stand out here, but my dad doesn't agree with anything we're doing. He thinks we're ruining the family legacy." "Legacy?" Marcus replied with a light laugh. "Your legacy is what you build, Andrew. Don't let the fear of disappointing your father stop you from doing what's right. You should follow your heart." Andrew sighed, looking out the window at the hotel that now represented so much more than just a place to stay. "I want him to see that the changes are necessary. That inclusion is where the future lies. He may not see it now, but you are making a difference. And when you refuse to back down, you become an example. True wealth isn't in money, but in the experiences we share," Marcus said, with a serious but encouraging look. Meanwhile, on the other side of the hotel, Sarah Miller was wrestling with her own insecurities. After the changes, she felt out of place and feared for her position. One day, while organizing documents, Angela entered the room. "Hi, Sarah. Can we talk?" Angela asked in a friendly tone. "Sure, Angela, what's wrong?" Sarah replied, trying to hide her anxiety. "I noticed you haven't been as present. We're all on board with the hotel's new direction, and your vision is valuable. What's holding you back from joining us?" Sarah hesitated before answering. "I'm scared. Scared that as we change, I'll lose everything I've built. This hotel has always been my life. Sarah, change can be scary, but it's also an opportunity. You have a chance to rewrite your story here. No one is forcing you out, but we need you. Diversity needs leaders like you," Angela said, looking into Sarah's eyes with sincerity. The conversation left Sarah contemplative. She realized she needed to decide if she wanted to be part of this new era. In that moment, the idea of being an ally to Marcus and Angela began to shape a new perspective in her mind. The legacy Marcus was building wasn't just about him. It was about everyone coming together to create a welcoming space. He looked at the hotel team, now united and empowered, and felt that they were ready to face any challenge that might arise. The true fight for inclusion was just beginning, but their determination was unwavering. The grand gala celebrating the new Regency Grand Hotel was approaching, and the team was in a frenzy of excitement and nerves. Sarah Miller, now co-manager of the hotel, felt the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. She faced the challenge of ensuring that the event was a resounding success, a symbol of the transformation Marcus Johnson had initiated. Gathered in a conference room, surrounded by Angela and Andrew, Sarah tried to keep spirits high. "We need everything to be perfect. Every detail matters," Sarah asserted, her eyes shining with determination. "This is our chance to show the world that the Regency is no longer just an elitist luxury hotel, but a warm, inclusive space." Angela, the housekeeper who had now become one of Marcus's key collaborators, smiled encouragingly. "We'll do this together, Sarah. Guests need to feel our energy, our desire to change." Andrew, who had become more confident after his journey of self-discovery, agreed. "We're ready for this. The changes we've implemented are genuine and reflect who we are now. Let's show that at the gala." As they discussed the details, Sarah received an anonymous email that made her heart race. The subject line read, "Beware of the gala." With her hands trembling slightly, she opened the message, which revealed a plan to sabotage the event. "This can't be happening," she murmured, her mind racing with the possibility. Angela, noticing the change in Sarah's expression, approached her. "What's wrong? You look pale." "I received an email, a warning about a plan to sabotage the gala," Sarah responded, sharing her laptop screen with both of them. "If this is true, we can't let it stop us. We have to move forward." Andrew, looking at Sarah's worried face, decided to take action. "We need to come together. If someone tries to sabotage the gala, we'll be ready. We need to focus on our preparation and not let this affect us." Sarah took a deep breath, feeling the strength emanating from her colleagues. "You're right. Let's focus on what we can control and make this gala a memorable event." With renewed determination, the team plunged into their preparations. Tourcenteur, they worked together, each contributing their ideas and skills. Angela was responsible for the decoration, choosing elements that represented the cultural diversity of the staff and guests. Andrew took charge of the music and entertainment, ensuring that the gala would have a vibrant and welcoming touch. "Let's create an environment where everyone feels part of the celebration," Andrew said as he reviewed the list of performances. "How about a folk dance group and a local band?" "Perfect, that will bring an authentic touch," Angela replied, excited. As the day of the gala approached, the team was in a frenetic rush. Sarah was overseeing the final details, making sure everything was on track. The decoration was stunning, with flowers of various colors and fabrics representing the guests' plurality. "Are you all ready?" Sarah asked, looking into the eyes of Angela and Andrew, who stood by her side. "This is our moment. We're ready to shine," Angela affirmed with a confident smile. "Let's make history tonight," Andrew added, determined. As the evening drew near, the anxiety and excitement were palpable. The Regency Grand Hotel team felt united, determined to transform the gala into a landmark of inclusion and diversity. With each person playing their part, they were about to show the world that true luxury goes far beyond material possessions. It was about experience, connection, and above. The gala celebrating the new Regency Grand Hotel was about to begin, and the atmosphere was electrically vibrant. Luxurious floral arrangements adorned the tables, while twinkling lights danced across the hall, creating a warm and diverse environment. Soft music filled the air, and guests from different cultures and backgrounds exchanged smiles and greetings. Angela, wearing an elegant dress and with a sparkle in her eyes, observed the frantic movement of the team, all engaged in the final touch. "Look, Angela, you did an incredible job with the decoration," Andrew remarked as he adjusted his tie. "Seriously, this is beyond what I imagined." "Thank you, Andrew. But it's not just me. Everyone came together to make this happen," Angela replied with a modest smile. "It's great to see things changing for the better." Meanwhile, Sarah was in the kitchen, coordinating the final preparations with the catering team. She felt nervous and anxious, but the determination she had found in recent weeks kept her steady. "We need to make sure everything is perfect. Tonight is our moment," she said, her eyes filled with resolve. "Yes, Sarah, everything is on track," one of the chefs confirmed as he organized the exquisite dishes. As the gala finally began, the guests started to settle in, and the energy in the hall surged. Marcus, dressed elegantly, observed from the stage, feeling at home. He took the microphone, and his imposing presence immediately captured everyone's attention. "Welcome to the Regency Grand Hotel, a place that celebrates diversity and inclusion," he began, his voice firm and warm. "Tonight, we are not just here to celebrate the reopening of this hotel. We are here to celebrate the richness of our collective experiences. Each of you brings something unique to this evening." The audience applauded enthusiastically, and Marcus continued, "True wealth is not in what we have, but in what we share. The stories, cultures, and connections we make here are what truly matter." As he spoke, a former hotel employee, a middle-aged man named Frank, was among the crowd. Resentful of the changes, He felt that the hotel's new direction threatened his vision of success and belonged to a past he was not ready to leave behind. Frank, with a disdainful look, had already devised a plan to ruin the gala, and as he heard Marcus's words, anger began to boil within him. At the climax of the speech, as Marcus spoke about the importance of embracing the different, Frank could no longer contain his indignation. He stood up, interrupting Marcus's speech. "This is absurd. This hotel doesn't need inclusion. Things worked better before when everything was controlled by people who know what they're doing." The room fell silent, and all eyes turned to Frank, surprised by the interruption. Marcus, momentarily stunned, quickly regained his composure. "And do you believe that what worked before was truly fair for everyone?" he asked, his tone firm, yet calm. "It's time to look forward and leave behind the old beliefs that divide us." Frank, determined not to be silenced, continued. "This is just a passing trend. You can't just ignore what made the hotel thrive in the past." The atmosphere in the room grew tense. Angela, who was nearby, felt compelled to interject. "Frank, changes don't mean we're forgetting the past. We're just striving to create a future where everyone has a place, where everyone feels valued." "Valued?" Frank laughed sarcastically. "Please, this is just a facade. What you are doing here is an insult to our legacy." At that moment, a murmur of indignation spread through the room. People began to speak up, sharing their own experiences of discrimination and exclusion they had faced throughout their lives. The already emotionally charged environment was now ignited with indignation and solidarity. Marcus, seizing the opportunity, stepped forward again. "What you're seeing here, Frank, is the strength of community. It's the true essence of what it means to be part of this hotel. It's not just a physical space, it's a space of unity and respect." The audience began to applaud, and support for Marcus intensified. He turned to Frank, who looked visibly uncomfortable, and said, "If you can't see the value in inclusion, perhaps it's time to reconsider your role in this hotel and in the community." The tension hung in the air, but Marcus's determination and the guests' support began to dissipate the negativity. The gala continued, and people began sharing stories of resilience, demonstrating that despite the challenges, inclusion and empathy were the true way forward. The event was transforming into something much greater than a simple celebration. It was a celebration of diversity and the strength that unity brings. The atmosphere in the grand ballroom of the Regency Grand Hotel was LE. The lights twinkled, reflecting the diversity of the guests who mingled, laughing and chatting animatedly. The event was a milestone in the hotel's new era, and everyone noticed the change that Marcus Johnson had brought. He was determined to ensure that the gala was not just a celebration, but also a symbol of inclusion and empathy. With a firm gaze, Marcus approached the microphone, his imposing presence drawing the attention of everyone. "Good evening, everyone. Tonight we celebrate not only the reopening of the Regency Grand Hotel, but a fresh start for all of us," he began, his voice resonating with confidence. "This hotel, which has been a symbol of exclusion, will now become a beacon of diversity and welcome. And this would not be possible without the collaboration of incredible people who believe in change." He paused, observing the audience, which was now completely silent, absorbing his words. "I am very proud to announce that starting today, Sarah Miller and Andrew Smith will serve as co-managers of this hotel. Together, we will create an environment where every voice is heard and every story valued." The murmurs that followed were ones of surprise and approval. Sarah, beside him, felt a mix of pride and nervousness, while Andrew, with a shy smile, felt his heart racing. It was recognition he hadn't expected, but it solidified his new identity. "Marcus," Sarah said, summoning the courage to speak, "this means so much to me. I really lost my way in all of this, but now I see that true leadership is about serving others. Thank you for believing in us." Marcus smiled. "Change does not happen in a single day, Sarah. It's a journey, and together we will ensure that no one is left behind." The atmosphere was so positive that suddenly, a visibly angry former employee of the hotel interrupted the celebration. "This is a joke. You think you can change what has always been? You won't succeed," he shouted, his tone laden with contempt as he approached furiously. The environment chilled instantly. Marcus, unprepared for this interruption, raised an eyebrow, his gaze sharpening. "And who are you to say that?" he questioned, his voice steady. "The past does not define the future. What you see here is the transformation that many have failed to understand." The tension was palpable. The former employee hesitated, but Marcus wouldn't let him divert the focus. If you have something to say, then come here and say it. But don't try to destroy what we are building. The audience began to murmur in support of Marcus. You don't belong here anymore, someone in the crowd shouted, prompting the former employee to retreat, his gaze filled with rage. I don't need you, he yelled, but indignation had already spread among the guests. Marcus seized the opportunity. Let's take this moment to reaffirm what truly matters: inclusion, respect, and empathy. If you can't handle that, then you don't belong in this new regency. The former employee, now unmasked and without support, turned his back and left the hall, leaving a trail of disapproval murmurs. Marcus looked at the crowd, which was now more united than ever. Look, what we are building here is not just a hotel. It's a community, a space where each of us can feel safe and valued, he said, his voice full of passion. And I promise that while I'm here, no one will be left out. The audience erupted in applause, and emotions ran high. The feeling of unity and hope filled the air. As the gala finally came to an end, people began to disperse, but the sense of renewal lingered. Marcus, Sarah, and Andrew gathered in a corner, smiling at each other. Today was a big step, Andrew said, his eyes shining. I never thought I could feel so confident. Sarah agreed. And all because of your courage, Marcus. You've transformed not just the hotel, but us too. Marcus looked at the two, his heart filled with gratitude. Together we will leave a legacy that will be remembered. A legacy of inclusion, respect, and love. The true luxury lies in the experiences we share. And this is just the beginning. With hopeful eyes toward the future, the three moved away, ready to face the challenges ahead, but now united by a greater purpose. The Regency Grand Hotel, now more than just a place, was becoming a symbol of a new world, where true wealth was found in diversity and empathy. We've reached the end of this touching story. If you enjoyed it and want to see more tales like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell. Right now, there's a playlist of videos on your screen. If you want to continue watching these moving stories, just click on it and you'll start watching. And now, tell us in the comments which city you are watching from, and leave a like to support our work. Now, a sincere question. Do you agree with what happened in the story? We want to hear your opinion. Until the next video.